So boys, it's the Gypsy, back at it again. Well. Ah, man. Look, guys. This fight with Canelo versus Bivol. I mean, I was watching it, but my stream was going on and off, so I watched majority of it, but I didn't catch all of it. But every time I had any kind of glimpse of the fight, I saw Bivol dominating. But this was not the Bivol that we normally see in, let's say, Joe Smith, whoever he fought. You know, what's the other guy that he even Solomov, whatever his name was, Solomov, the guy that recently fought. Every fight, the last 5 fights, let's just say, I'm not going to go all of his fights, all of his 19 fights. I'm just going to say the last 5 fights. This was not excluding the Canelo fight, this was not the Bivol we normally see. What I'm trying to get at, boys and girls, this was a fake fight. But I think Bivol somewhat down the line forgot that he was supposed to do something for Canelo because he was paid to do that, and he forgot, and his fighter instincts took place, and he legitimately fought him somewhere after maybe 4 rounds or 3 rounds. And I'm saying this because, yeah, he won the fight. I said he was going to win the fight. This is not about me bragging about saying that, I told you so. This is the guy that's going to beat him for sure, 100%. Unlike my other picks that were like Billy Joe Saunders were 50-50, even Kovalev's fights were 50-50. Only the Triple G first fight, I will probably say Triple G's fights was when I was confident of saying that Triple G would 100% beat him, probably even knock him out, that type of shit, until he, kind of in his cheating methods, even though I like the guy, but he's a cheater. It doesn't change anything about the dude. Anyways. So, before I picked Bivol, I had Kovalev being robbed. Kovalev got knocked out. I had Billy Joe Saunders beating him as long as he doesn't get hit by that shovel hook, and he was still going to get robbed. But when it came down to Bivol, I was extremely confident, without a shadow of a doubt, that there was no way, and you can see it through my videos, and you can see how I talk about these fights, that there was no way, and absolutely no way, that Canelo should win. And if he does, either he's improved so much, or the fight is fixed and it's fake as fuck. But even though, that's the funny thing about it, even though Bivol won this fight was fake. Because Bivol could have stopped Canelo at any point in this fight, maybe after like five rounds, after the 5th round or whatever, because he reverted back to his old ways of, kind of like Manny Pacquiao, but more perfect, with minimal mistakes, very, very minimal mistakes. A perfect fighter, bro. This guy is the pound for pound, the uncrowned pound for pound. It should become, in many people's eyes, the true pound for pound now. Okay, because he not only dominated Canelo in his own game, I may add, he hit Canelo's fight, a Mexican-style fight, with a little bit of touch of his, a splash of his style at the last 6 rounds. But because he forgot that he was supposed to let Canelo have his way. And I'm going to explain to you why this fight was fake. Because there was multiple cases where Bivol was back to the ropes, and he just let Canelo... he does this, but he only does it after he's completely dominated, and now he wants to feel the power of his opponent in near the end rounds, the 10th, 11th, the 12th, whatever. He does this only during those times. He doesn't do it during the beginning of the fight, where he's just behind the ropes. He's not moving. He's not using his legs, which, that's that is not Bivol. Like, you cannot tell me that's Bivol, bro. That's not his style, unless that's his game plan to change, you know, Canelo's outlook on how Bivol is gonna fight him, because Canelo came in with a game plan. You know what I mean? That's not the case. You know what I mean? That's not the case over here. I'm so worried about my fucking wife texting me right now. Anyways, forget about that. The thing is, he stood there in the beginning of the first 3 rounds, and he took uppercuts, which was ridiculous. Like, you can see it from a mile away. Even the fighters that were on the undercard would have avoided those fucking shots, let alone Bivol getting hit by those shots. Straight uppercuts down the pipe, in behind. Dude, you gotta be dumb as fuck not to see that the fight is fixed. You know what I mean? And when he got Canelo hurt in multiple rounds, he didn't go for the finish, which means that Canelo was paid not to fight a real fight. Just like how AJ with Usyk, AJ paid Usyk not to knock him out. This was very similar to AJ Usyk, very, very similar, except just the styles, you know, the style of fighting was the only difference. But it was very, very similar in the fact of the politics, you know, I don't want the politics, but the, you know, you call it politics at this point, because, you know, contract deals on the slide or whatever, on the low, not to make certain things happen in the fight. Dude, in the beginning, bro, the first 3-4 rounds, I was like, this is fake as fuck, bro. Like, that's what I was saying. I was saying it's fake. Even though if Bivol was winning those rounds, it doesn't mean anything to me, because it was fake. I'm watching not a real fight. I'm watching a fake fucking fight. I couldn't say this with the Billy Joe Saunders. I couldn't say this with the Kovalev, because Kovalev was worried about being countered. Billy Joe Saunders was not as strong, but he, you know, that's why, and he was, Canelo was threatened by the power, and understandably so. So you can't really say anything about those fights, but you can say it about this one. Fight film, or Precise, whoever you are, man. You know, not everything you can, unless you know 100%, you can't just make up fucking accusations, bro. Anyways, but I know his game. I know fight film, bro. The guy does it for, you know, for the conspiracy knuckleheads out there that believe. It's not because Precise believes half the shit that he says. He knows his shit. So anyhow, all that shit aside, this was a fake ass fight, man. And what we saw, though, is how dominating of a figure Bivol is. Anything Canelo threw wouldn't, as I said in my video, it wouldn't have phased Bivol. It wouldn't have hurt Bivol like it hurt Triple G, like it hurt Billy Joe Saunders, Kovalev, you know. Well, I'm talking about good names, not Caleb Smith and Caleb Plant. You know, good level fighters. It wouldn't have hurt this dude, you know what I mean? Because Joe Smith hits harder, and he let Joe Smith wail on him, bro. He let Joe Smith fucking do a number. Let him fucking just do anything for a few seconds just to feel his power. But he dominated the fuck out of Joe Smith, and you saw how the fight between Joe Smith and him was more of a real fight, because it was still not a real fight, because he could have finished him, and he chose not to. He used him as a punching bag. But it was more of a real fight than this fight, because this you know, the beginning of the fight, it should tell you a lot about how this fight is so fake. You know what I mean? Of how he's getting uppercutted in the fucking on the ropes. It's just retarded, and he's not using his legs at all. And then he changes it up, and he starts using his legs after the 6th or 5th. I can't recall, because my stream was so fucking bad on top of that. You know what I mean? But I'm happy that the right man won, and for those who believe in their imaginary fucking mind that because Canelo was the smaller man, he was naturally smaller, but you know, how many times has Canelo fought bigger men? You know what I mean? Guys that are towering him, more bigger than Bivol himself, let's just say. Strong as fuck, too. I'm not going to take that out of the equation as well. This was a skill upon skill and speed, obviously, was the main factor, as you can see, as I said before as well in my video. The speed and the skill, like just like how Valdez versus Stevenson, same exact shit. He was just a better man. End of story. You know what I mean? And you know, when it comes to, yeah, it's similar to Valdez, Stevenson, size-wise, everything. It's very similar. You know, very, very similar. And Canelo was just not the more higher IQ boxer in this scenario. He just wasn't. Even if Bivol was a little bit smaller and he was exactly the same size, because when they stand next to each other, it's only about a 2-inch difference, and reach advantage is 2 of it. Dude, Canelo looked honestly bigger in the torso than, if you watch, he looks bigger than the torso than Bivol does. You know what I mean? Because of his roids and shit that he's been taking, kind of probably slowed him down in the process, unlike how he was against Triple G in the second fight. He was a little more mobile. Actually, in the first fight too, a little mobile. But that shit don't matter, because even if he was mobile, this would be the same outcome. Actually, even if it was a legit fight, it would have been a worse outcome. You know what I mean? But this based on Canelo's little shindigs, this is how it's going to be. The fight's going to be in this fashion. You know what I mean? Anywho, so what am I getting at? Yeah, this fight was fixed. I mean, this fight was a fake fight, not fixed. You know, they gave him 115, 113. What was it? 112, I think. I forgot, for Bivol, unanimous decision. But in the real fight, this would have been a KO. I mean, there was moments in time that was it round 10, and BDA's Bucho channel. Bucho be saying, you know, he didn't even throw a shot in the 10th round. My stream was fucking bad at those time periods. I couldn't catch anything. So you could imagine that what Bivol would have done to this dude if he really wanted to put him out of his misery. He didn't do it because he was paid to do so. That's the name of the game at the end of the day. You know what I mean? That's the name of the game. It was that's all it was. He wasn't wary of Canelo's counterpunching. He wasn't wary of Canelo's power, none of that shit. And to say he was the bigger man, and that was the reason why, dude, he would do the same shit if he was on 168. He drops down a weight train, he would still do the same shit to fucking Canelo, because he's naturally not a 175 pounder. Bivol is a natural 168 pounder that fights at 175. Every guy that he fights is bigger than him. When Canelo every now and then fights guys that are bigger than him, this guy fights on a consistent basis guys that are bigger than him. The true pound for pound king. He's better than Usyk. He's better than Usyk. He's better than I would even say he's better than Terence Crawford, because this guy's a perfectionist. He won't get hit. I mean, I'm not saying he never gets hit, but it's very small percentage. Like if he was 100%, I would say 2% chance he gets hit without wanting to get hit, if you catch my drift. You know what I mean? He's a perfectionist. No one, not Lomachenko, your Loma lovers, no one has that perfectionism. You know what I mean? No one in the boxing. End of story. He is a pound for pound top dog. He's better than Usyk. I noticed it years back. I just didn't want to fucking say it so much because there's so much Usyk fanboys, and this guy hasn't really at that point in time, he hadn't really proved himself. So I didn't even put him in my pound for pound list, but I didn't put him in top 5. Well, you could go ahead now and go establish the fact that he's number 1. He ain't number 2. He ain't number 3. He's number 1. Because of his skill, his durability, his fucking timing, his everything, bro. His combinations. He's the most precise fighter you can ever pick out. Just because he lost in the amateurs to Kovalev years back when he was green, maybe. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean shit. You know, Ugas beat fucking Terence Crawford in the amateurs. Does that mean anything? Fuck no. Ugas smashes Terence Crawford nowadays. Whoever has Ugas beating fucking Terence Crawford is out of their fucking mind. You know what I mean? Anyhow, yeah. What else? What else can I add to this fucking fight? That's in my head. Yes, David Benavidez is the same size as fucking Bivol. And according to David Benavidez, which I don't rate highly, I don't know what motherfuckers think. Even Charlo, I don't rate him highly. You know what I mean? Even Charlo is the same size as dude. Charlo is the same size as as Bivol. Charlo's a big fucking 160 to 168 pounder if he ever goes up to 168. You know what I mean? That's a big dude. He ain't small, man. Even he the same size. So the size is not the factor here, guys. It's the guy's skill level that makes him fight in 175. And because of his skill, he's developed the power, he's developed everything in that weight division to dominate guys that are bigger than him. Bigger and stronger than him, I might add. You know what I mean? By a lot. Because those guys he's fighting don't even some of them don't even belong in 175. They probably belong in fucking cruiserweight. You know what I mean? Because they just don't cut it. That's why they don't make it to cruiserweight. Same thing with guys on 168. They don't cut it at 175, so they fight 168. They don't cut it at 175, so they fight at 168. David Benavidez, for example. You know what I mean? This guy is an elite fighter. He can go down, and I prefer. He's not. You know, I would say at one point in time in his career, he probably would have decided to go down in weight and fight at 168. But sorry about the car noises. But there's no need at this point, because now if David Benavidez wants to prove himself, he should go up and fucking fight him at 175. It shouldn't make a difference if he so-called had the better of him in the sparring match that he claims, which is bullshit. Any kind of success if he thinks he had, he probably gave it to him. Because it's a sparring match. You don't go fucking for real, and sometimes in sparring matches, it's a learning thing. You don't fucking go for real. Sometimes in sparring matches, not all the time. Yeah, so when you compare this guy to all of them, Triple G, I mean, just all you had to know, bro, to know who's going to be the winner of this fight was to compare Triple G. I didn't say this, but I should have. Compare Triple G to this dude. He will dismantle the Triple G, bro. He will annihilate Triple G. Even if Triple G was in his weight class, it wouldn't change because of this guy's speed. You know, he kind of reminds me of Errol Spence, but Errol Spence is nowhere near as good as this guy because Errol's not as accurate. He's consistent like him. That's the only thing that's similar. That's why I'm saying that he's similar to Errol Spence. You know, that's the only that you know I can compare him with Errol Spence. He's just another league. Let's just say that much. He's in a different league. Yeah, for him to move up in cruiserweight would be asking too much because the guys he's already fighting, I say if you ask him to move up in cruiserweight, that is, they're already like cruiserweights. They're fucking standing 4 inches, 5 inches taller than him, have longer reaches by a mile. There's nothing to prove in going up in cruiserweight for a guy like this. And Beterbiev, he's gonna beat the fuck out of. Like I've been saying years back, but I had a moment in time where my mind was switched because like I saw Beterbiev, I'm like, maybe not, maybe this and that. No. Those who believe Beterbiev beats this guy, and those who believe that Beterbiev, if I put him on the ropes, where he intentionally won this fight with Canelo, he put himself there to get Canelo to wail on him because he was paid to do so. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean that he's gonna do that against Beterbiev because Beterbiev is gonna be a serious fight. He's gonna box and move, and he's gonna make him miss, and he's gonna make him pay. He's not gonna knock him out. He might drop him, he might knock him down, but there's not gonna be a knockout. I thought there would be no knockout in this fight too, but realistically, if this was a real fight, he would have knocked out Canelo. You know what I mean? He would have. Let's just be real, okay? He would have been knocked. But Beterbiev, I don't think he knocks him out, but he boxes the crap out of him, wins majority of the fucking rounds. This is not Gvozdyk we're talking about here. Gvozdyk is not as accurate, not as good, not as focused, not as fast. There's a lot of things that he's not, that Bivol is. You know what I mean? And not doesn't have the killer instinct that this dude also has But the thing is, with him being a killer instinct, he chooses to not knock out someone's position. That's what makes him somewhat of a boring fighter for casual fight fans, as I like to call them. You know what I mean? Or most people like to call them. More like it, you know? Anyways, yeah. Anytime, I'm going to tell you guys one thing. Anytime that I say I'm really confident, not half-ass confident, that someone's going to beat someone, like Kambosos Lopez, I was super confident that he beats him. You know what I mean? Not just confident, super confident. And that's why Lopez will never rematch that dude, even if it's in 140. Believe it or not, he will beat that motherfucker. Believe it or not, that's how confident I am. If I'm super confident, you bet your bottom fucking dollar that that guy's gonna win. Even though I don't bet on fights, because there's so much bullshit in fights, and not just fights, in sports in general, that's how I roll. You know what I mean? There's anything else I like to add is that I don't think there's anything else I have to add to this. He's better than Usyk, boys. Not because he beat Canelo. You'll find out later. How he beats Petrovic is how you're gonna know a lot of things. Petrovic in the amateurs gave fucking... I know amateurs don't mean much, but he dropped fucking Usyk with a body shot, bro. And he not only he was bullying him. You know what I mean? Yes, Usyk won, you know, a few rounds here and there, but, you know, 3 rounds, you know, and I think the second fight, he beat him. They just gave it to Usyk. They gifted it, the fucking fight, to Usyk. Usyk is not as good. And I repeat, that's a 3-round fight with pads and everything. Usyk is not as good as Petrovic. That's all I gotta say. That's my last shit. You know what I mean? And this guy's better than Terence Crawford, which I think is better than Errol Spence. I think I have Errol in my pound-for-pound top 5, I think. He's on 5. He's in the number 5th place. Anyways, it's been real. Bivol was the uncrowned... he was the uncrowned pound-for-pound, and now he's the legit pound-for-pound. Get it through your thick heads. Don't be fucking thinking because this guy's boring, because he's so fucking dominant that, you know, and he doesn't sometimes... like his last fights, he hasn't knocked anybody out, that he's not the best there is. I'm out. This is the Gypsy. It's been nice educating all y'all.